Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Manohar Kumar, Assistant Professor of English from Government College Devgarh. In the previous lesson, we talked about the dramatic monologue and the soliloquy. And today we are going to study the poem My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. So, in this poem, today we will discuss on an introduction of the poem. Browning, who is one of the great poets of Victorian period and who was the master of dramatic monologue, and especially he is known for his dramatic monologue technique. My last duchy My Last Duchess was first published in the volume of poems called Dramatic Lyrics in 1842. My Last Duchess was first published in the volume of poems entitled Dramatic Lyrics, which was published in 1842. The poem was republished in the Dramatic Romances of 1863, and this poem is dramatic monologue. The speaker is the Duke of Ferrara. In the poem My Last Duchess, the speaker is the Duke of Ferrara, an important city of Italy. Ferrara is an important city of Italy. It was an important cultural center during the Renaissance period. It was an important cultural center during the Renaissance period. The present monologue is a remarkable piece of character study not only of the Duke but also of his last duchess and the messenger of the neighboring count forms the listener and the interlocutor. So, this monologue is a remarkable piece of character study, not only the Duke of Ferrara, but also uh, of his last duchess and the messenger of the neighboring count. The Duke of Ferrara, a powerful, proud, and hard-hearted Italian Duke of 16th century. The poet belongs to Victorian period, but his poetry is not reflects the Victorian period and the Victorian features. The poetry of Robert Browning is the poetry of Renaissance period of Italy. He was not the poet of his own age, but he was the poet of Renaissance or particularly Renaissance of Italy. So, his poetry is not the poetry of his age. The Duke of Ferrara, a powerful, proud, and hard hearted Italian Duke of the 16th century, has been widowed recently, he intends to marry a second time. The messenger of a powerful count who has his estate in the neighborhood comes to the Duke's palace to negotiate with him the marriage of the Count's daughter. The Duke takes him round his picture gallery and shows to him the portrait of his last Duchess. The portrait is lifelike and realistic, and the Duke, who is a great lover of the fine arts, is justly proud of it. He who is a great lover of the fine arts. This is the basic feature of Renaissance period. So the Duke is here in this poem a speaker, and the messenger is a silent listener. And in this poem, we can study the characters of Duke as well as his Duchess and the messenger also. The Duke points out the portrait to the messenger and tells him that he alone uncovers the picture and nobody else is allowed to do so. The Duke tells him that the deep passion in the eyes of the Duchess does not result from any sex intrigue or guilty love. He did not give her any occasion to be unfaithful to him. Even the portrait on the wall was done not by an ordinary artist but by a monk, and he was allowed only one day to do it. He did not allow the monk any longer time, for he did not want to provide them any occasion for intimacy with his Duchess. So, this shows that the Duke is a jealous tyrant. This shows that the Duke is a jealous tyrant, and the poor Duchess could not have enjoyed any freedom of movement as the wife of such a man. Continuing further with his explanation, the Duke tells the uh, messenger that his last Duchess had very childish and foolish nature. She was pleased with trifles, uh, minute things. She was pleased with trifles, would thank others for even the slightest service they happened to render to her, and had no sense of dignity and decorum. For example, the faint blush of joy on her cheek and neck was not caused by the presence of her husband alone. So here Duke's nature is jealous again, and he is doubtful towards her wife, his wife, sorry. She had a childish heart. Duke here points out the characteristics of his Duchess. So, the Duchess was uh, very childish and foolish nature. Sorry, Duchess had very childish and foolish nature. And she had a childish heart and was pleased to easily buy such trifles as the gift of a branch laden with cherries, the beautiful sunset, or the mall presented to her by someone for her rides round the terrace. She would blush with pleasure at such trifles, just as much as she would blush at some costly ornament presented by him. She was the wife of a duke who belonged to an ancient family, 900-year old. So here the duke describes his royal family, and he says that his duchess was very childish and foolish nature type of woman who thanks everyone on trifle or trivial things. But when I presented her uh, very precious gifts, but she would blush at with pleasure at such trifle things. She behaves like other people's with me, but I was uh, her husband, and I gifted her very precious ornaments and many other things, but yet her nature was very childish and uh, not very special for me. So the duke is jealous for her wife. As a matter of fact, she had no discrimination and no sense of dignity and decorum. The Duke says she had no discrimination between other people and me while I was the husband of her, and no sense of dignity and decorum. She smiled at everybody without any distinction. She smiled everybody without any distinction. She thanked uh, everybody in the same way. He expected better sense from his wife. The Duke tells the messenger that he expected better sense from his wife. He expected some special, some different from his wife, but she behaved same way like other uh, persons. He did not correct her, and he did not like to suffer this loss, and she would have, besides, she would have argued and discussed with him instead of listening to his advice. Her habit of smiling continued to grow till it became intolerable to him. Her habit of smiling continued to grow till it became intolerable for Duke, for him. At last, he gave orders, and then all smiles stopped together. This is one of the most important line of this poem, and one of the most quotable line in English literature. At last he gave orders. At last the Duke gave orders, and then all smiles stopped together. Means the line has been left intentionally enigmatic. We cannot say for certain how the smiling stopped, but most probably the poor innocent Duchess was murdered at the command of her brutal and stony hearted husband. So, this is the story of the poem. The Duke then asked the messenger to come down where the other guests of his are waiting. In passing, he tells the messenger that he would expect a rich dowry from his master, the Count, and he adds very cleverly his primary concern is the daughter and not the dowry. The Duke is not only hard hearted, proud, and tyrannical, but also greedy and cunning. He is a hypocrite of the first water. The only good point about him is his love of art. So, this is the story of the poem. Thank you for today.